We live in a world that talks about confidence, chemistry, and connection. But when it comes to physical intimacy, especially giving pleasure, we suddenly get shy. Why? Because no one's really taught us how to own it, how to show up with confidence, generosity, and a little playful mischief. Confidence is the ultimate turn-on because it sets the entire tone of the intimate experience. When you approach a moment of vulnerability with certainty and calm energy, it communicates so much more than just, "I know what I'm doing." It says, "I'm comfortable with you, I'm comfortable with me, and I'm not afraid of this moment." That level of self-assuredness is magnetic. It creates a kind of emotional safety, a sense of trust, and a vibe of irresistible boldness that can't be faked. Confidence is what allows you to lead, tease, and explore without hesitation. And that in itself is unbelievably attractive. For many people, nerves creep in when they feel the need to perform or get it right. But confidence isn't about being perfect. It's not about knowing every single technique or having all the answers. It's about owning your presence and trusting your ability to tune in. It's a belief in your energy and the moment you're creating together. When you're confident, you're not constantly checking his face for approval. You're not second-guessing your movements. You're giving, enjoying, and leading with intention. That's the difference between being good and being unforgettable. Confidence allows you to slow things down. Most people rush through intimate moments because they're unsure, anxious, or afraid of doing too much or too little. But when you're confident, you take your time, you enjoy the build-up. You understand that your presence is powerful, that your touch is enough, and that you don't need to rush to impress. You know the value of anticipation, and you're not afraid to let things simmer at deliberate pace. That's confidence, and it drives people wild because it shows you're not doing this out of obligation. You're doing it because you want to, and you're enjoying every second of it. Another layer of confidence is communication, both verbal and nonverbal. A confident person doesn't shy away from reading the room, asking what feels good, or responding in real time. They're not in their head, they're present, reactive, and tuned in. They know how to guide the energy without overthinking it. That kind of attentiveness combined with self-assured action makes everything feel personal and intentional. When someone feels like you're genuinely enjoying yourself and also taking charge in a relaxed way, that's an irresistible mix. Lastly, confidence is about body language. It's in the way you carry yourself, how you position your body, how you breathe. Are your shoulders relaxed? Is your touch deliberate or hesitant? Do you meet his eyes without fear? These subtle cues say more than words ever could. When you radiate comfort in your own skin, you give him permission to relax into the moment as well. It's an invitation to be fully present, fully expressive, and fully turned on. Starting slow and building anticipation is one of the most underrated yet powerful elements of physical intimacy. In a culture that often rushes toward the finish line, taking your time is what sets an experience apart. When you begin slowly, you allow space for desire to build, for tension to rise, and for every little moment to become charged with meaning. The key to driving someone crazy isn't in doing more, it's in doing less, with purpose. That deliberate restraint creates a kind of electricity that can't be manufactured through speed or intensity. Slowness becomes a language of its own, one that speaks volumes about presence, control, and confidence. When you start slow, you're saying, "I'm not in a hurry, I want to savor this." And that mentality is contagious. It invites your partner into a more connected, mindful space where every gesture is felt more deeply. It's not about dramatic pauses or forced theatrics. It's about intentionality. A light touch, a lingering glance, a moment where you hover just close enough to feel the heat but not quite make contact, all of it creates tension. And tension is what fuels attraction. The more you build it, the more potent each next move becomes. Anticipation also allows the body and mind to sync. It gives your partner time to tune in, to experience you with full awareness, rather than just reacting on autopilot. The longer you build up the moment, the more sensitive everything becomes. Light touches feel electric, breathing becomes heavier, eye contact becomes more intense. Every small shift or gesture starts to feel amplified. This doesn't happen when things are rushed. It only happens when there's space for the experience to unfold naturally. Taking it slow also shows a level of care and attentiveness that makes someone feel incredibly desired. It tells them you're not just going through the motions. You're in this for the full experience, for the connection, for the pleasure of the moment, not just for a result. That kind of presence is rare, and people can feel the difference instantly. It heightens not just the physical experience, but the emotional one as well. It creates a sense of intimacy that lingers far beyond the moment itself. Physically slowing down allows you to explore, tease, and respond. It gives you the ability to observe how he reacts to different types of touch, different speeds, different rhythms. You get to experiment with pressure, with pauses, with whispering against the skin, without even doing anything overtly explicit. And in those moments of subtlety, anticipation grows exponentially. Each delay, each hesitation becomes part of a story you're telling with your body. He doesn't know what's coming next, and that uncertainty is part of what makes it unforgettable. You're not just building arousal, you're creating a memory, layering sensation with suspense in a way that keeps him hooked from the very first second. Using your hands like a pro transforms the entire experience from basic to breathtaking. Too often, people underestimate the power of their hands, treating them as an afterthought instead of a central part of the interaction. But your hands are incredibly expressive tools. They can tease, guide, explore, and communicate just as much as your mouth or eyes. The key is in how you use them, with confidence, intention, and variety. When you integrate your hands into what you're doing, you expand the sensation, create contrast, and maintain a rhythm that drives him absolutely wild. The most skilled lovers don't just rely on one point of contact. They create a multi-sensory experience. Your hands can be firm or feather-light, fast or slow, controlling or gentle. This dynamic range allows you to shift the energy at any moment. You can cuddle, stroke, tug, hold, each movement sending different signals. The contrast of your hands in one place while your mouth is somewhere else creates a layered sensation that heightens everything. When the brain receives stimulation from multiple places at once, it becomes more engaged and more overwhelmed in the best possible way. Your hands also allow you to take control of the tempo. You can slow things down or speed them up, applying pressure when needed and softening it when the moment calls for tenderness. You're not relying on guesswork. You're reading his body, adjusting in real time, and using your touch to guide his experience. That kind of responsiveness is incredibly sexy because it shows that you're present, in tune, and actively co-creating the moment. He doesn't just feel like something is being done to him. He feels like he's being discovered. There's also an emotional layer to touch. Hands can comfort, excite, or challenge. They can assert dominance or offer support. When your hands move with confidence, they communicate that you're not afraid of him, of his body, or of your own ability to please. That certainty becomes a kind of silent communication, one that builds trust and amplifies desire. The way you use your hands, where you place them, how you move them, when you apply pressure and when you ease off, tells a story. And the more intentional that story, the more compelling it becomes. Don't forget about eye contact and coordination. When you're using your hands skillfully and maintaining eye contact, it creates a loop of feedback and connection that's incredibly powerful. He sees that you're in control, that you're watching him respond, that you're fully in the moment. It's hypnotic. You're not just giving pleasure, you're leading him through an experience. And that leadership is most evident in your touch. Whether you're teasing him with light fingertips, applying firm strokes, or holding him in place, your hands become an extension of your energy. They carry your intent. They express your confidence. and they have the power to make the entire experience unforgettable. Eye contact creates intimacy in a way that nothing else can. It's the unspoken language that says you're not just physically present, you're emotionally available, confident, and tuned in. In moments of heightened connection, eye contact becomes more than just a glance, it becomes a message. It tells him that you're fully aware of the impact you're having, that you're enjoying every second, and that you're not afraid to let him see that. It's a kind of psychological tension that amplifies everything. While your body is doing one thing, your eyes are saying another, layering the experience with depth and emotional heat. Holding eye contact at the right moment turns a physical act into a shared experience. It bridges the gap between lust and connection, between action and feeling. When you look up and meet his eyes, even just for a second, it sends a jolt through the moment. It tells him he's being seen, desired, appreciated, and that you're not just performing, you're connecting. That kind of recognition is rare, and it sticks with people. It makes the experience feel personal, like something that's not just about pleasure, but about chemistry, attention, and mutual presence. Eye contact can also be playful. A smirk, a raised eyebrow, a knowing glance. These subtle expressions all communicate confidence and curiosity. They invite a sense of fun into the moment, a kind of teasing that keeps things exciting and unpredictable. You're not just going through the motions. You're fully engaged, fully aware, and showing that you're in control of the atmosphere you're creating. That sense of play, combined with sincerity, keeps the moment light, yet emotionally charged, sensual, yet grounded. There's also a powerful vulnerability in eye contact that deepens the connection. When you meet someone's gaze in an intimate moment, you're exposing a part of yourself. You're saying, I'm here with you. I'm not hiding. That willingness to be seen makes your partner feel safe, desired, and emotionally involved. It transforms the moment from something purely physical to something layered and memorable. Vulnerability, when expressed through steady, intentional eye contact, becomes a strength. It invites him to open up to drop any pretense, and to just be present with you in the experience. Using eye contact well is also about timing. It's not about locking eyes constantly. It's about knowing when to look, when to break away, and when to return. Those brief moments of connection and disconnection create rhythm. They build suspense. They let you pace the emotional intensity alongside the physical. A well-timed look can say more than any word. It can signal when you're about to switch things up, when you want him to pay attention, or when you just want to savor his reaction. It keeps him engaged not only with what you're doing, but with you, and that connection is what elevates the entire experience beyond technique or skill. Paying attention to his reactions is one of the most powerful tools you can use to deepen connection and elevate pleasure. Every person is different, and what works for one might not work for another. The only way to truly tailor an unforgettable experience is to stay present and observe how he responds. His breath, his body language, the tension in his muscles, the sounds he makes. These are all real-time signals that tell you exactly what's working and what's not. When you pay attention, you move from guessing to knowing, and that shift makes your touch feel intuitive, responsive, and intensely personal. Listening to his body requires you to stay in the moment rather than getting lost in your own head. It's easy to get distracted by performance anxiety or to focus on what you think you should be doing, but the most powerful experiences happen when you're tuned in. Subtle changes in his breathing, the way his hips move, the way his hands reach out or pull back. All of it gives you information. When you respond to those cues with confidence and adaptability, it tells him that you're not just doing something to him, you're doing it with him. That collaborative energy makes the experience feel alive. Being observant also means being flexible. If something doesn't seem to land the way you expected, you don't take it personally. You adjust, you explore, you try a different rhythm, a softer touch, a new angle. That willingness to adapt without losing your confidence is incredibly attractive because it shows maturity, skill, and genuine desire to create pleasure rather than simply deliver a routine. This kind of attunement builds trust and allows him to fully relax into the experience, knowing you're not on autopilot, but actually engaging with him as an individual. Verbal feedback is valuable too, but not always necessary. Sometimes his body will tell you everything you need to know. Other times you can gently invite more communication. A simple "do you like that?" or "what feels best right now?" opens the door without breaking the mood. Even if he doesn't answer out loud, the question itself signals that you care about his experience, that you're attuned to his pleasure, and that you're confident enough to want feedback. That confidence alone is a turn on, and when combined with genuine curiosity, it becomes incredibly compelling. There's also something emotionally intimate about being seen and responded to in real time. It makes the experience feel collaborative, like you're building something together. It's not just about technique, it's about chemistry, energy, and sensitivity. When he feels that you're watching him, listening to him, and responding with thoughtful adjustments, he feels chosen, he feels important. That emotional resonance enhances the physical pleasure and makes the moment not only more enjoyable, but also more memorable. Your attentiveness becomes part of the experience, something that stands out and leaves a lasting impression. Switching it up is one of the most effective ways to keep things exciting, intense, and unforgettable. Variety in rhythm, pressure, position, and technique prevents the experience from becoming predictable or mechanical. When you repeat the same movement over and over without change, even if it feels good, the sensation can become dull. But when you switch things up, you introduce surprise, contrast, and stimulation that keeps his mind and body fully engaged. Variety triggers new sensations, heightens anticipation, and keeps him guessing in the best way possible. It shows creativity, presence, and a willingness to explore, which are incredibly attractive qualities in an intimate partner. One of the simplest ways to introduce variety is through changes in rhythm. Alternate between slow, teasing motions and faster, more intense moments. Start with light, delicate touches and build into firmer, more focused ones. These shifts create tension and release, a rhythm of sensation that mirrors the natural ebb and flow of desire. This dynamic pacing prevents overstimulation and draws out the experience, making each phase feel more deliberate and immersive. It also gives you control over the energy of the moment, allowing you to escalate, pause, or soften based on how he responds. Another key to variety is exploring different areas and incorporating multiple types of stimulation. Don't just stay in one place or rely on a single technique. Use your mouth, your hands, your breath. Each one offers a different texture, a different temperature, a different sensation. The contrast between warm breath and wet lips, between a soft touch and a firm grip, creates a rich sensory experience. These layered sensations keep him mentally and physically locked into the moment, unsure of what's coming next, but eager to find out. That unpredictability keeps things fresh and electric. Switching it up also includes incorporating moments of pause and stillness. These aren't breaks, they're opportunities to build anticipation. Pulling back for a second, hovering just close enough to make him crave more, or simply holding eye contact while doing nothing at all can be just as powerful as the most intense movement. Pauses allow the body to recalibrate and heighten the sensation of what comes next. They turn the experience into a story with highs and lows, peaks and rests, instead of a flat, one-note performance. Changing positions or angles is another subtle but impactful way to introduce variety. Adjusting your posture, tilting your head differently, or moving to the side creates new angles of stimulation that feel fresh and surprising. These small adjustments show creativity and attention to detail, signaling that you're not just going through the motions but actively shaping the experience. It also allows you to find what works best for both of you and adapt the moment to your mutual comfort and pleasure. Mental variety is just as important as physical. Use your voice, your facial expressions, your energy to shift the mood. One moment can be playful, the next intense, the next gentle and caring. These emotional shifts, paired with physical changes, make the experience multidimensional and deeply immersive.